Athletics Director Craig Angelos. Now, Lassner spoke at today's UH Board of Regents meeting. Kyle Chinen joins us with the new developments. Kyle.
Yeah, Ash, this is President Lassner's first public statement since the announcement made on Tuesday that Craig Angelos would not be retained as Athletics Director effective December 1st. At the Board of Regents meeting, which Lassner attended in person, he spoke for about 15 minutes after multiple student athletes gave virtual and in-person testimony in support of Angelos. Many still frustrated over the lack of transparency with the move. Lassner first dispelled online rumors and bullying attempts at members of his staff, but still did not give much detail into the decision to fire Angelos. He admits that the timing of the decision was awkward, but did not want to leave this burden to incoming President Wendy Hensel.
The social media, and some of which is included in the written testimony submitted to the board and made public, just includes a set of ugly lies and conspiracy theories. I absolutely acknowledge Mr. Angelos' leadership and roles in some of the accomplishments he cites that are echoed by his supporters here and in the online world. And as I know full well from my own performance evaluations by supervisors before and the board now, a list is important, but does not capture the totality of the performance of an executive.
Multiple UH student athletes took the stand virtually and in person to show their support for AD Angelos, one of which started an online petition that has well over 2,000 signatures urging the Board of Regents to reinstate Angelos as the athletics director.
I hope to continue gaining traction and demonstrating the evident support there is for Craig Angelos from the University of Hawaii community. In the coming weeks, I will ensure majority participation from every single sport on lower campus in the signing of the petition and asking for the reinstatement of Craig Angelos as athletic director.
Losing Craig Angelos as our athletic director would mean we, the student athlete body, would be losing a crucial and valued part of our identity. He has played an instrumental role in shaping the proud community that Hawaii continues to build and embrace with pride. It has not just been about the wins on the field, but it's about the momentum, the culture, and the future that has been set in motion under his leadership.
Now, Lassner's full response can be found on our website, hawaiinewsnow.com. We'll hear more from the student athletes in the wake of today's meeting coming up in our evening newscast. Kyle Chinen, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Kyle. President-elect Donald Trump is working on a new pick for Attorney General after Matt Gaetz, the former congressman who was his first choice, withdrew from consideration amid allegations of sexual misconduct. Tarian Small has more.
Embattled former Congressman Matt Gaetz announced he's withdrawing his name for consideration to be President-elect Trump's Attorney General. He wrote on social media, "There is no time to waste on a needlessly protracted Washington scuffle. Trump's DOJ must be in place and ready on day one."
I just heard about it, so I don't know any of the details.
Your initial reaction?
But just yet, relief.
Trump chose Gaetz despite allegations he attended 10 to 15 sex parties in the past that included illicit drugs. Gaetz is also accused of having sex with a minor, allegations he's denied. Wednesday, Gaetz worked to convince senators to confirm him anyway.
Remember, for all these guys, there's a process. It's the advise and consent process, and we're going to go through that.
Thursday, attention on Capitol Hill focused on Trump's pick to lead the Department of Defense, an Army veteran and Fox News host who has also been accused of sexual misconduct. Pete Hegseth met with senators and addressed a 2017 police report. The accuser, referenced as Jane Doe, reported feeling like she had been drugged and recalls saying no a lot while in a hotel room with Hegseth. She says he prevented her from leaving and that he was on top of her. Hegseth told police he was buzzed but not intoxicated. The encounter was consensual and that the woman seemed regretful after sex, but he did not elaborate.
The matter was fully investigated and I was completely cleared, and that's where I'm going to leave it. Thank you very much.
Hegseth later settled a lawsuit with Jane Doe, saying he did so in order to not ruin his career. Torian Small, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Russia has launched an intercontinental ballistic missile attack on Ukraine, escalating tensions in the region. Nick Patton-Walsh has the latest from Kyiv.
Yeah, look, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky has said that the altitude, the speed showed that this attack had the characteristics of an intercontinental ballistic missile. That's kind of the clearest statement we've had from Ukrainian officials about the fact they believe a new type of weapon has been used by Russia in this conflict. Now, something was launched about 5 o'clock in the morning that appeared to be accompanied by 6 or 7 other missiles, one of which was said to be a hypersonic Kinjal missile. They may have been intended to take out air defenses or occupy air defenses to make space for this other missile, which a Western official has said was not intercontinental, was just a ballistic missile. Now, look, this can often be semantics about the capability versus the range over which something is indeed fired, and there are devices in Moscow's arsenal that kind of fit on the cusp between the intercontinental and the intermediate range. Regardless, though, of the terminology, this is clearly, it seems, Moscow, according to Ukraine, trying to use a new type of weapon in this conflict. And it comes after days of ratcheting escalation. Just remember, in the last 48 hours, we've had the first use of US-made and supplied ATACMS missiles by Ukraine to hit targets inside Russia. After Sunday, Joe Biden, US president, gave that authorization, and then it appears that British Storm Shadow missiles have also been used to hit targets inside of Bryansk in Russia as well, just yesterday early morning. So a lot moving here in terms of the Western contribution towards Ukraine's fight, and now potentially this use of an ICBM missile, if indeed that is the case by Russia. No comment from the Russians directly on this, maybe their response. I think behind me here you can hear the air sirens going on again in Kiev. That is regular here, but people who will hear that will be more anxious than normal. Not just because of the use of this new type of weapon, but also because of the very specific warnings that yesterday caused the US Embassy to close for the entire day. And so, yeah, we're certainly looking at a country on edge here.
Here at home, the state health department is investigating human contacts to a flock of birds in Wahiawa that were infected with the H5N1 avian flu. Officials say 54 people have been investigated for potential exposure, but none of them tested positive. Most of the individuals were tested because they either had unprotected exposure to the infected birds within the past 10 days, or they had respiratory symptoms within 10 days of contact with the birds. New at noon, the public is being asked to keep an eye out for Tiare Marie Kale Mamahu. Now, the 13-year-old, who also goes by Kui, has been missing since October 9th on Oahu. She has light brown hair and eyes, is 5'3" and weighs 145 pounds. She was last seen wearing a black jacket and jeans. She also has pierced ears and braces. Officials say Kale Mamahu may be seen from Central to East Oahu. If you have any information, please call Honolulu Police. Happening today in LA, a rally for Hana Kobayashi, the Maui woman who went missing on her way to New York City. Our Dylan Ancheta just spoke with her family and joins us with the new details. Dylan.
Thank you so much, Ashley. Loved ones and supporters are coming together at 3 p.m. California time at the Crypto Arena. They're hoping to drum up help in finding the 30-year-old. Now, today's rally is being held in the vicinity of where she was last seen. Family members there will be canvassing the area for any clues of her. Kobayashi was heading to New York City to visit her aunt on Friday, November 8th, but missed her connecting flight out of Los Angeles. Since then, new footage has emerged that shows her in downtown LA on November 11th, which is the last day she mysteriously texted a friend saying she gave away all her money and was scared. That new video has not been publicly released, but her family has seen it. They say Kobayashi was not alone and she did not look well. I spoke with Hannah's sister a short time ago.
We're really hoping to just get as many people as we can out there. We're really just trying to do our best to spread and raise the awareness and continue the efforts and in the search of finding my sister. So even if you can't make it out there, please just continue to try to, post every day, continue to raise and spread awareness. This has been very, highly community-based, and we are so grateful and appreciative of everything that everybody's been doing and all of the love and support that we've, had to endure during this time.
The family also encourages people to avoid speculation about what happened and asks their supporters to stick to the details that have already been confirmed by authorities. Now, we'll be keeping an eye on the rally throughout the day and bring you the latest on evening editions of Hawaii News Now. Dylan and Cheta, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Dylan. On Maui tomorrow, FEMA will officially open its temporary group housing site in Lahaina for wildfire survivors. A blessing ceremony for Kilohana will be held at 2 p.m. The 34-acre site is located off Kane Hall Road near Wahikuli Road, and the project will add 167 modular units in the area. It's being funded by FEMA and the state. A future footbridge across the Alawai will be called Alapono, the right path. The city is looking for the right design, and the project is drawing critics. But as Ben Gutierrez reports, right now there's no way to cross the Alawai for nearly 1.5 miles.
The city's plans to build a pedestrian bridge over the Alawai took a big step tonight as people were given nearly 20 options on what kind of bridge should be built.
We're asking people to look at them and tell us what they think.
The bridge, which the city calls Alapono, would span the canal from Kalaimoku Street on the Waikiki side to University Avenue on the Mo'iliili side, something pedestrians and cyclists have been looking forward to for years.
This would connect Manoa with Waikiki in a safe way, in an accessible way, for whether you walk, ride, or roll.
But some don't like the way it looks.
It's too big, and it's designed for heavy traffic, basically.
And some on the Mo'iliili side say they don't want Waikiki's problems coming to their neighborhood.
The only thing that I can see it benefiting is anyone who's stealing anything from the tourists inside Waikiki getting out quickly.
Others want the city to conduct a full environmental impact study.
We have been settled on this full EIS, which means you do a full analysis of the neighborhood, of the people that live in the neighborhood, use the park, and would be improved by having a bridge.
City transportation officials say they've already completed a less stringent environmental assessment.
Under the federal process, they then take a look at what we've done and they make a determination. Do we have to go do an EIS, or is the EA that we did sufficient?
And some are worried about the $63 million price tag, although the federal government is providing at least $25 million of that. The Army Corps of Engineers is also still planning a $1 billion flood mitigation project, calling for 6 to 9 foot high walls along the banks of the Alawai.
If and when we have a bridge, and if and when we have a flood control, the two will marry up nicely.
After 5 years of permitting and studies, we're told it could be another year or two before construction begins. If you have an opinion, now's the time to speak up. Another session like this one will be held here again at the Alawai Elementary School on Saturday. Ben Gutierrez, Hawaii News Now.
Thank you, Ben. A wildfire near Ko'olina is now 90% contained. State, county, and federal crews have been battling flames in an undeveloped area off Kapolei Parkway since 2:30 Wednesday afternoon. Crews remained on scene well into the night to put out any hot spots. No roads are closed and no evacuations have been ordered.
Just for now, let's go ahead and give you your first alert weather headlines so you can know what to expect as you are making it through the day today. Trade winds are going to be easing. They are going to be light and variable for the weekend. So those brisk trade winds, well, they are going bye-bye with high pressure that's moving south of the state. Also, Hawaii Island will get some showers. Otherwise, everybody else is going to be drier. And the waves, we get a little bit of a pulse late Saturday, peaking on Sunday. Your full forecast coming up in minutes.
Thanks, Billy. The Pacific Northwest is reeling from a deadly bomb cyclone as Northern California faces the threat of record-breaking rainfall. That's ahead on This Is Now. Plus, how staffing issues could impact the upcoming holiday travel rush. What you need to know if you're planning on flying next week. That deadly bomb cyclone in the northwest. At least 2 people have died after the storm slammed into the coast, damaging homes and roads around Seattle. Carter Evans takes us there.
I just had a tree hit my house, and I think it may have fallen on my wife.
The Bellevue Fire Department got that 911 call just after a tree fell onto a home, striking and killing a woman in the shower.
I can't imagine what that must be like for him, knowing his wife is still there and you can't get to her right now.
We're doing the absolute best that we can. It's looking like we might have to get a crane out to lift the tree up.
Across the Seattle area, the bomb cyclone did overwhelming damage to some neighborhoods, and the historic storm brought gusts over 50 miles per hour.
Does it feel real?
No, I'm just gonna imagine I'm in a nightmare.
In Bonnie Lake, this woman said she heard the crashing sound of a tree fall onto her house. Now it's unlivable.
I'm a single mom with 2 kids, and I'm pretty sure we're not going to have a place to live for a while.
In Northern California, a second powerful system known as an atmospheric river is fueling the storm there. Our Rob Marciano is in Eureka, about 230 miles north of San Francisco.
The onslaught of wind and water continues. Massive waves coming in here, 10 to 20-foot breakers punishing this coastline, and the rains have been relentless.
And in the mountains, more than a foot of snow forced a shutdown of a section of I-5, putting these big rigs at a standstill. Crews are making really good progress. They've restored power to about half of the customers who've lost it. And today the weather here is going to be a lot better. We're going to get a little bit of rain, but that's pretty typical of the Seattle area this time of year. The flood alerts and the wind alerts, those have ended. The most intense weather now moves to Northern California. Carter Evans, CBS News, Renton, Washington.
The FAA says it may need to slow down air traffic during peak travel times this holiday season due to staffing issues. The Northeast could be hit the hardest, especially New York, due to a shortage of air traffic controllers in that area. Now, back in May, the FAA said it was short about 3,000 air traffic controllers overall. And then in September, the agency said it had met its yearly goal of hiring 1,800 controllers. The busiest travel days will be the Tuesday and Wednesday before Thanksgiving, and then the Sunday after. Well, Australia's government introduces a bill that would ban anyone under 16 years of age from using social media. Details on the landmark legislation in 2 minutes.
right, full forecast for you on this Thursday. Let's start with the surf first. North-facing shorelines are 2 to 4, and so that's going to be the biggest that we'll get, either that or on the east-facing shorelines. This was bigger, of course. It was huge. It was advisory level surf last week, but that's because we had high winds. With the winds going light, that changes things across the board here. Once again, 2 to 4 feet on the east-facing shoreline. Your UV index is at 6. Here's what we've got. High pressure here, and actually what's going to happen is this is going to split apart. So we're going to get 2 areas of high pressure, but this one's going to go bye-bye. Light winds and dry conditions. That's going to start today, and it's going to last us all the way through to the weekend. Take a look at our futurecast right now. Look at this. No yellow streaks, no red streaks. This is all light winds that's happening, and not a whole lot of precipitation. So let's go ahead and move this forward as we go through Friday, Saturday, and even into Sunday. But we got some prefrontal moisture that's going to come and bring us some rain on the islands. But notice, and here comes this cold front that's going to come through. Kauai is going to get a lot of that shower activity. It starts to dissipate as it moves through the island. So really, Hawaii Island's not going to get very much of that. So here is your day today, what you can expect. A lot of sunshine, especially in the midday. Daytime high going to be in the lower 80s. And as we go into the 7-day forecast, take a look at this real quickly. East-northeasterly winds, 10 to 15, 5 to 15 mile per hour winds. Really light winds. We've got a drier period. Here's one thing, the fire hazard. We do have high level of lower humidity in the air. So that's not good for the fire conditions. However, with the light winds, it's somewhat manageable. Use some caution if you're going to be dealing with anything concerning fire over the next week or so. Daytime high is going to be in the mid-80s, and once again, some really, really nice conditions. But again, not a whole lot of rain in your 7-day forecast. Enjoy the day today. Let's get you back to more with This Is Now.
Thank you, Billy. Australia has launched a landmark bill to ban social media for children. If it passes, it will be one of the toughest regulations in the world, with huge fines for social media companies that don't comply. Lee Kanairi has more.
In Australia, just posting on social media could soon be against the law if you're too young.
I want Australian parents and families to know that the government has your back.
Australia's Prime Minister says he's worried about the safety of kids as his government considers a bill to ban social media for anyone under 16. It's the highest age limit set by any country in the world.
Social media is doing harm to our kids, and I'm calling time on it.
The ban would cover platforms like X, TikTok, Facebook, and Instagram, but allow exceptions for low-risk use with apps for mental health and education. If they fail to keep children off their platforms, social media companies could receive fines of over $30 million. Some see it as government overreach. Ex-owner Elon Musk posted it seems like a backdoor way to control access to the internet by all Australians. Others welcomed it.
Looking at it from a teacher's perspective, I think it's really important that it's banned due to cyberbullying, because there's a lot of youth suicide happening at the moment.
Suicide is the leading cause of death for teens in Australia, and experts have linked time online to a mental health crisis. But how they'll enforce the new law is not yet clear. Australia plans to trial a system that uses facial recognition technology, but admits it's not foolproof.
The kids are smart, right? Like, we're smart, we'll find our way to get around it.
The bill heads to the Senate next week, but it could take a year before Australia's kids are logged off. Lee Kanairi, CBS News, London.
2 people meet for afternoon tea to celebrate Guinness World Records Day. We'll explain when we come back. Time for some good news. Take a look at this video. What you're seeing is not an optical illusion. You're looking at the world's tallest woman enjoying tea with the world's smallest woman. Ramisa Gelgi stands at 7 feet 7 inches tall, while Jyoti Amgi is a fraction taller than 2 feet. Guinness brought them together to celebrate the 20th annual Guinness World Records Day. The women say it was tough to make eye contact, but they found common ground. They both love makeup, self-care, and doing their nails. Cambridge Dictionary named manifest as its word of the year for 2024. The verb means to use methods such as visualization and affirmation to help you imagine achieving something you want in the belief that in doing so will make it likely more to happen.